take it from here.
Okay, ready?
Yes.
Okay, cool. All right, so, well, I just wanted to come on here and share with you guys a little bit about fear. And so we're going to talk a lot about our fears tonight. So the first thing that I wanted to share with you guys is a little bit about my backstory and why I love this topic so much, because I was so fearful of everything, not just in my Plexus business and not just starting Plexus, but in my life in general and growing up. So this is a little bit of my personal story, and maybe some of you guys can relate to this. But I come from a drug and alcoholic background. For example, when I was really little, like I said, I come from a drug and alcoholic background, but I can remember police officers coming into my house looking for my mom. My dad was a paranoid schizophrenic, and paranoid schizophrenic, I mean, that's a mental illness, and my dad was always wanting to fight Mike Tyson. So when he was off of his medications, he went on this role to fight Mike Tyson, and he would punch holes in our walls, and he would like leave our house and go running down the highway with exercise machines strapped to his back. He had broke out of the mental health facility twice. And I would be outside playing at home, and I would see him walk home, and it was just a very, very scary situation. My sister, my mom, and I had lived in a women's home for a little bit, and this is something that had really was a really kind of crazy time in my life. I think I was probably like around 10 or 11 at this time. And the song that I had posted in our group earlier by Michael Jackson, Man in the Mirror, I remember listening to the song, and I was a huge Michael Jackson's fan anyway. I swore I was going to marry him someday. But I remember listening to this song, and I was literally looking at myself in the mirror. And I knew at that point, I didn't know like what it would mean for me, like in the future, but I knew that I was here to make a difference. I knew I was here to make a change. I just didn't know what that meant, but it was like that fire that was lit. And I just didn't know where it was going to take me. But every single time that I hear that song now, it is a reminder to me that I just need to keep going, like keep doing what I'm doing and always be out there trying to help people and do the best that I can. It was a changing moment in my life. And you know, like life was just really tough. It was really, really tough. And when you have a traumatic childhood or traumatic experiences in your life, it manifests into other things, right? So as we become adults, we have to deal with things like anxiety and depression, and the list just kind of really goes on, and issues that are stemming from that traumatic past. But I'm not sharing this with you because I want you to feel sorry for me in any way. I'm sharing this with you because maybe you're like me and have a story that's similar to mine. And, maybe like I did, that there was this mold that you had to fit in, that you didn't believe that you could ever really fill. So that was me. I really thought that I was destined to fail. I come from a line of destructive behavior. My parents were this way, and I thought that this was the hand that I was dealt, and this was the way that my life was always going to be. And so I just really started to believe that. I had to become a mom at the age of 7 when my mom couldn't take the best care of my sister. I smoked my first cigarette at the age of 9 with a couple of my trailer park friends because that's what I thought that I was supposed to do. That was my environment. Coming out of high school, I started looking for love in all the wrong places. I had zero respect for myself, so I didn't always make the right decisions. I had Brendan when I was 22 years old, and I remember looking at him and just thinking, somebody has to break the chain. Somebody has to change this. And I thought, why not me? You guys, something changed in me when I took my why me and turned it into why not me, that victim to warrior, that place of fear to that place of courage. You guys, courage is not the absence of fear. It's the action in spite of fear. So people are still scared to do courageous and extraordinary things in their lives. They just do it anyway. And so that's what I needed to do. And I did the same thing. I made that same decision when I decided to work this business, as I was still completely afraid. But I thought, why not me? Why Nicole Gorgon, who is absolutely amazing and beautiful in every single way, but why not Adrienne Joslin, right? So, and why not you? So talking about fear tonight, because fear, we all have it. And maybe that's like the first misconception that we can just clear up, that you're the only one who has fear. And maybe you're paralyzed by fear in your business right now. And listen, every successful person in this world has fear. They just do it anyway. And that's what you do with fear, that it determines that you have a life of your dreams, a life that gets you out of bed and excited every day, or you live a life in mediocrity, right? And it's just what you do with it. So I'm going to challenge you to look at fear a little bit differently. I'm going to talk to you about a few of the different or most common fears that people experience, okay? The first and most exercised fear of them all is the fear of failure. And how many of you are afraid to fail? I'm definitely that person. And so I'm going to challenge you to look at fear a little bit differently, okay? So what if instead of failure being something that we fear or something that's a bad thing, what if we took it as an opportunity? And that's exactly what it is. It's an opportunity to grow, right? So failure is only a bad thing if you fail to learn from it. So instead of cowering and being afraid of failure, what if we expected it, because none of us are perfect, right? You're going to stumble in this business. You're going to stumble in your life, right? But what if instead of letting it prevent us from achieving our dreams, right, we look at it and say, okay, what could I have done differently or better to have had a different or a better outcome? And then we grew from it. And that's a good thing, right? So failure is only a bad thing if you fail to learn something from it. Les Brown, we all love Les Brown. Les Brown says, if you fall, fall on your back, because if you can look up, you can stand up. If you can stand up, you can get up and continue to chase your dreams. So maybe right now you feel like you have fallen, and maybe right now you feel like you're stuck. So I'm going to say to you today to just get up. We're all just going to get up and keep chasing our dreams. The fear of failure does not have to be a fear. Learn something from it and grow from it, okay? The next fear, the most common fear, is the fear of rejection. So we're going to do like a little bit of an exercise, and I'm so happy everyone's on. So the second most commonly exercised fear of rejection. How many of you have been rejected in your life? Right? A lot of us? Yeah. And so when we think about rejection, I think about that deep deep-seated rejection, that hurt, that changes us as a person, right? So a little exercise. How many of you have been rejected 1 or 2 times in your life? Okay. How about 3 or 4? 5 to 7, 8 to 10. Okay. Happens a lot, right? You guys, they say that the average number of rejections that the average person has had experienced in their life is 5 to 7 rejections. You guys, it's all about perception. So I'm going to challenge you again to look at this a little bit differently as well. How many people have been generally accepting of you in your life? Hundreds, thousands, tens of thousands? There are over 600,000 ambassadors. We are Plexus Worldwide. We have a hashtag that is a one Plexus spirit that is unique to our company, which means we have over 600,000 people in our corner, okay? Look at it like this. Our amazing pink powder team. I think our team consists of over 500, 600 people, right, Nicole?
Yeah, it's getting close to 600.
Yeah. So a team that is clapping for you and cheering you on every day. You guys, like those 5 to 7 people out there are the ones that are the freaks, right? We can storm those people out any day. They don't stand a chance, in my opinion. So it's like you got to really look at it differently. Don't focus on that small number of people. Focus on the big number of people that are generally supportive of what you're doing. But I want you to keep this in mind too. And Nicole had posted actually about this. It's a Les Brown quote again, earlier today in our leaders page. So it actually just fits, that it's necessary for you to know that not everyone will join you and that not everyone is going to have the vision, and that a lot of people like to complain, but not a lot of people like to do something about it. And that's where you and I are the uncommon breed. So I want you to accept the fact that you're different, I'm different, we're all different in this. And what we're doing isn't the norm. It goes like against everything that we were ever taught in life, right? Our society has taught us that we get a job, we work the 9 to 5, and we pay bills till we die. But, I'm going to say, and you're going to say that that's not good enough for me. And I don't want to do that. And we're just going to do something different. So, and things are different. Things that are different are not normally or generally accepted, right? And in my opinion, that's okay. Not everybody is going to get it, and not everybody is going to get you. Not everyone is going to understand your heart when you reach out to them, and not everyone is going to like you. And it's not going to have anything to do with you. So just hear me out when I say that it's not you, it's them. People who are mean and not accepting of what we're doing or of us. And maybe you get like those nasty comments on your Plexus post or whatever it is that it looks like for you. But you guys, that comes from a place of hate, insecurity, and jealousy, and all of those things. It's a really ugly thing. And we don't need that in our lives, right? So, and the great thing about Facebook, it has 2 great features, and that's delete and block. And we are just going to move it right along, right? So we are not going to worry about those people, all right? And you just have to know that it's okay. Like, it's really okay. It's not going to have anything to do with you, but we're all going to have that. We're all going to have those people. So fear of rejection. Focus on the people that are clapping for you. It's most important. The third fear that is one of the most recognized, and this is kind of a crazy one, but the fear of success. And we're going to talk about this because when I first heard of the fear of success, I thought that's really kind of crazy, right? Like when I first heard about it, I thought, who on earth would be afraid of making a 6-figure income, right? Like that just doesn't make sense to me. And I believed that until it happened to me. And so I'm going to share with you when I first about a story. When I attended my first Plexus event there at Leaders Retreat in Orlando, which was like the most amazing experience ever. It was awesome. But when I arrived at the hotel, I met with Jen Hawkins, who then invited me to hang out with her at the pool, and I completely freaked. I did, completely freaked out. And I met her at Runners, and she's a great person. She's so completely humble. Like I just kind of freaked out. And I stalled actually for quite some time. I talked to Nicole and was like, oh, I don't know what to do. But I had this vision, and I worked up this whole vision in my head that she's going to be out at the pool. She's going to be in this big old luxurious cabana and just have like all these diamonds like surrounding her. And it was just going to be this big thing where I felt like it just wasn't a place for me to be. And so when I finally got over my fear and went and joined her, that was not it at all. She was out there hanging out with Trisha and her mom and Jo Beth, who I got to meet both of those incredible ladies. And if I had not gone, I wouldn't have met them. But as I was sitting there with Jen and talking, I was scanning the pool, and it was just loaded with, Plexus people. I recognized some of the faces from training videos, right? And they're all like Plexus celebrities, right? So I'm sitting there, and it's like this huge doubt washed over me for the first time in my business. And I thought, oh my gosh, like, what am I doing here? Like, I can't measure up to these people. Like I definitely need more Plexus swag and more Kendra Scott earrings. Like I don't know if I can really do this. But I was totally stopped dead in my tracks with this fear of success. So, I had to make a decision. This was a mold or fold moment for me. And I could either stop and quit, right? Or I could do the hard things and push through it. So I decided to do what I needed to do. And one of the things that I knew that I needed to do was to get over my fear of public speaking. And I don't know where I got this fear. It could be from the time I was in 6th grade and I raised my hand to give an answer to a question that I thought that I knew the answer to, and it was wrong. And the whole class like laughed at me. So from that point on, I really avoided to the best of my ability to talk in front of people. And when I had to, I still fumbled over my own name. I couldn't make complete sentences. So even to this day, it's still one of my biggest fears. And I knew that I had to overcome like this huge fear. So I vowed to myself that if anyone's going to ask me to speak in front of people, I was just going to say yes. I was just going to do it. So the first time I spoke to people, if you want to call it that, was when I put out my first why video on Facebook. So hundreds of Facebook friends, right? Which is something that I would have never, ever done pre-Plexus, like ever. I'm such an introvert. Like that was just not, I would have never done it. But I did it anyway, out of fear. So, now I've spoken at a couple of opportunity events. I've gone on, live on Facebook a lot. But you guys, like, I'm still afraid. Like I'm still scared every single time. I get sweaty palms, when I do it. I've also started working on, or focusing on my time on leadership. And, I needed to work on getting out of my comfort zone, which is exactly what you're going to do, right? So if you feel stuck, or if the fear of success freaks you out, this is what we're going to do. Raise your leadership lid. And I know we've talked a lot about that before on previous calls and in our team. It's so important to raise your leadership lid. And I'm going to share with you an equation that has been shared with me. So you're going to want to write this down. The equation is CZ equals money Z. So that means your comfort zone equals your money zone. You've always got to be growing yourself, okay? You guys, fear, we all have it. We all have that fear. It's what you do with that fear that determines whether or not you're going to be successful. You guys have to believe in yourselves, and you do, because we're all sitting here right now. We're all sitting here on this call tonight. So we have to decide today that we're going to toss away those fears, that we're going to burn it into the fire pit. But you also are deciding that you're just gonna do it anyway, okay? And you're going to believe that you can. I believe in all of you, and I can believe in all of you all day long, but you have to be the one to believe in yourself. So that is my little ditty for tonight. So I hope that's helpful.
I mean, Adrienne, for you having a fear of public speaking, like you've blown it out of the water. Like that must be lifted. Like
days of practice for tonight, not gonna lie.
I love there's a lot of things I love on this call. I love that storm out the 5 to 7 freaks that don't get what we do. Like, I'm always one about choosing joy, but then I'm like, these people that make us feel inadequate or that make us feel like we're bothering them or doing something wrong, I love storm them out, delete and block. We have to use that more.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I love that. And I love the focus on the people that are clapping for you.
Yeah.
We forget that we're a part of such a large group that the small things that can bring us down have more of an impact than the large group that can lift us up sometimes.
Yeah. And that's completely normal. You know what I think? Because how often in life do we always think about the negative things? Like those are the things that stick out to us when there's so much good and so much positive that really trumps all that. It's like those bad or those negative things always sometimes sticks. And that's when we need to really focus on the bigger picture.
Mm-hmm. Does anybody have any questions for her or thoughts or feedback or notes that you took?
I didn't want to cough into the thing, so I had to wait and cough and then unmute myself. No, I feel like Adrienne, a lot of what you've experienced is a lot of what sort of like in a different realm of what I'm going through right now. I mean, there's some stuff. It's not just like, oh, grad school's so hard. I mean, there's a lot of other things that are bringing in, doubt and worry and fear and everything like that. And, it's just kind of like, you gotta, suck it up, buttercup, and push on and push through anyway. And, really dig in and find your support system and tap into those people and really utilize the people who are supporting you as that positive resource rather than being, down and negging on yourself all the time. And so that was a nice reminder for myself. Plus, a lot of when you started off with your background, I was like, oh my gosh, a lot of this is like like flashback city. And like my parents are actually the chain breakers in my family. So, all of my grandparents were alcoholics. And so I totally get where you're coming from and all of that. So good for you. That's
good for you. Yeah.
I like that term, Sarah, the chain breakers. It's true. That's true. Anybody else have anything for her? I love that you took the fears and identified them in different ones. Cause I think the fear of success, that's a real thing. I mean, and I think that it can hold you back from like thinking, I mean, I'm definitely done this before, and I'm probably confident everybody has. We're like, is that really going to ever happen for me? Or is that ever, you know what I mean? There's no way that I can, I even noticed it at the runner's retreat. Like I was scared to sit in a Lexus because I'm like, oh, no way. Like I'm not touching that thing. Like no way. But it's the fear of like seeing the big picture.
Yeah. And I think it's like the fear of the unknown too. It's like, it's so, you feel like it's so far, it's so distant. And so then it's just like, you want to shut it down. Like you just want to shut it down so quick. And then you lose sight of where you're really going and the goals that you have, because you feel like it's not going to happen for you. And it's only not going to happen for you if you don't continue to go,
Right. No, I think this is such an important message for everybody to hear. I feel like for some reason, this time of year is one of the hardest to get through because you've been working so hard all year and you're coming up to a head point, and then it's, starting over fresh, especially when it comes to working your business, starting over fresh in January and thinking like, okay, there's a light at the end of the tunnel, and then that tunnel gets smaller, and then all of a sudden it's like a whole new thing. But I think that the just pushing yourself past what we are having stand in our own way is huge. And I think when you identify them in these type of characteristics, it's true. I love the fall on your back. I don't know if I had heard that one before. I love that.
Yeah. Yeah. Les Brown's awesome.
Mm-hmm. Oh, there's Ruth. I didn't even, hi Ruth. Hi. Ruth, did you have anything to add before we end the call about December?
What were we going to talk about?
So I mentioned the Cash for Christmas, the power hours that we're starting, and the online sip and see for the team. And then I think that was pretty much it for right now. But I didn't know if you had anything else to add out there.
I mean, I think that, you guys, I have struggled so much recently too. And I mean, I think that it just is this time of year. And I think it's, it's just a combination of things and where you are personally in your own journey and feeling frustrated that it's not going faster, even if you're not comparing yourself to anyone else, even if you're just comparing yourself to yourself, feeling like I'm not going fast enough, like it's really hard. So, I mean, I'm giving myself grace. I'm encouraging my team to step back if they need to a little bit. And in that way, and in that same breath, the things that I'm telling myself that I need to do every single day, and maybe this will help you guys too, I'm trying to streamline and simplify what I'm doing every day. And so in my mind, what I'm thinking about is I listened to Emily Roberts' video again about her holiday tips. And I ordered those sample cards with my information on them and a place for a sample pack. And I'm going to put those in my purse, a big handful of them, and do some of the things that she talked about. And then the only two things that I'm really concentrating on is watching those videos in that 12 Days of Diamonds group. Really committing to staying, like it's the first thing on my to-do list every morning for Power Hour is catching up on whatever videos. I mean, I'm not going to lie. I'm motivated by stuff. I want an Echo Dot and some pajamas and a mani-pedi. Like they're giving away awesome stuff. And in that is some incredible motivation and is some incredible tools from these diamonds. So I really encourage you guys to like commit to that group and to listen to those videos. Did anyone listen to Emily Fennell's video today?
No, no, not yet.
Oh my gosh. Like she literally gives her system for like how she approaches people with the business. And it's awesome. So I love that. And then the second thing I'm committing to is the Cash for the Holidays group that we're starting tomorrow. And so those are the two things that every day, if I do nothing else, I'm watching those videos, I'm taking notes, I'm taking it to heart, and then I'm going to do the IPA challenges that you're setting out there. And I'm going to give out samples and be the friendliest person that anybody has ever freaking met when I'm out. So that's all I'm focusing on this month, because it is so much about planting those seeds.
Yeah. Yes.
And in that is planting seeds in yourself too. Yeah. So listening to these videos, that personal growth, like I hope that you guys don't totally take your foot off the pedal. I mean, you just have to continue to go. And if the 5 people of reach outs is like haunting you every day, just do the IPA challenge. Don't do your 5 reach outs. That for me, I sometimes have a block with. So if I can just say, one of the diamonds in the videos was saying, don't think about it as you're going to go somewhere and you're going to talk to 3 people about plexus, or you're going to reach out to 3 people about plexus. It's think about making a new friend or rekindling an old friendship, saying nothing about plexus. Mm-hmm. And that to me was comforting. Like, it just really like reminded me, this is relationship marketing. Like, this is what we're doing. I did that vendor fair yesterday, and if you guys have not done one, I really encourage you to do it at your kid's school.
How'd it go?
What?
How did it go?
It went awesome. And honestly, I did not, like, I am not pushy, but I mean, I stood there and I was smiling and I was right next to a cookie booth and like I was shopping and, you know, I mean, I was having so much fun, and these conversations just happened so organically. Like, I would be catching up with someone and I'd be like, oh, have you tried the pink drink? And they would try it and they're like, what is the pink drink? You know? And then I'd be like, it just kind of like led into a really organic conversation. And I'd be like, just fill out this little sheet here if you want to. I was like, I swear to God, I will not bug you. I will send you information if you want me to. And we'll just kind of go from there. And I had like 10 solid conversations with total interest there.
That's awesome.
Really, I just felt like, I don't know, like it was totally worth my time. And I felt like it was just a really genuine thing. So
yeah, well, and it probably gave you the energy back that maybe you were needing for people like to show interest and want to talk to you about it, you know?
And it's people that I know that are seeing my posts. They're on my Facebook, but they've never connected with me personally. And I'm finding out they have diabetes on both sides of their family and they're pre-diabetic themselves. This one gal who I connected you with, Adrienne, has got hypothyroidism. I'm like, you've got to talk to Adrienne. Like, I don't know. It just was like all these light bulbs were going on for people all over the place, you know? And I just don't think that there's any substitute. And the walls come down when you're talking to them face to face, person to person. And you promise to be, I'm like, sometimes I was like, okay, I promise I'll be cool. Like, I'm not going to like spit this all over you.
You know, human blanket them and
seriously, like I literally wanted to take some people down, but I'm like, just promise me you'll like think about it, you know? And they're like, all right, I promise. I'm like, seriously. So it was great. But that's literally my focus this month, is just committing to those 2 groups, giving out samples, and trying to be present with my family. Like, it is so hard to shut it off sometimes, but just know that we have such a special team of cheerleaders, and we're all just there for each other. And I think that is worth its weight in gold to me.
And you know, it's like, and this isn't a race. You know what I mean? Like, just it's not a race. Like, we don't have to reach certain levels or certain ranks or have so many ambassadors or customers by a certain time. Like, you go at your own pace. And sometimes it's going to be, you know, it could be fast paced for a little bit and then it's going to slow down, but it's never a race. And so I think that's where a lot of people too kind of get thrown off a little bit, because they think that they need to achieve certain things by certain times. It's like, yeah, have your goals, but it's not a race, you know, and always focus on connecting, you know, versus like being out there like a hungry wolf, because that's what we're not doing. Right. So it's all about connecting and building those relationships. So,
I have one more thing to add. I met with a gal a couple weeks ago that was, she's a corporate recruiter, and I just wanted to pick her brain about like how she recruits, and I mean, genuinely just interested in what she does. And I wasn't even going to talk to her about plexus. Well, come to find out, as she's talking to me, she's telling me that she used to be a really high up person with Arbonne, like had the Mercedes. Actually, they sent her to Australia to open the Australian division. Like, she was really high up in Arbonne. And I was like, well, why did you quit? And she was like, well, I mean, she goes, I was making really great money, like $8,000 a month. And I was like, oh my God, like that, it kind of made me giggle, because I'm like, okay, right. I mean, okay. But she was talking about how she said, honestly, I don't think I could ever go back to network marketing, because she said, I bet you're not able to concentrate on me right now. I bet you're thinking of the 3 people you're going to try to recruit before you leave here. And I looked at her and I was like, maybe that's what's wrong with me, is that I'm not thinking. That would never have entered my mind. And it was just an interesting conversation. And so I was talking to Jen Hawkins about it, because I was like, maybe that's a missing piece with me. And she was like, that would never be something that I would be thinking as I'm out to coffee with somebody that I genuinely want to talk to. And she was like, that's the difference. She said, the other companies are teaching you to be hunters and to be out there. Who am I going to be recruiting before I leave here? And that's just the complete opposite of the way that Plexus teaches us. And I mean, I had such a huge sigh of relief that a double diamond in our company does not think that way. I mean, I literally was seriously doubting whether I was doing this all wrong, and if this was for me, if that's what I should be doing. And so I just felt like that was a real eye opener for me to know that, like, that's not what we're doing here.
Is that what she said she used to do?
Oh yeah. And I asked her, I'm like, were people like responsive to you? Like, did you go put products in their hands? She's like, oh yeah. She goes, I go, were they resistant? She goes, oh hell yeah. I was like, really? Like, they would teach her to go up and like strike up a conversation and get product in somebody's hand and like just be push, push, push. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's just not.
Well, and it sounds exhausting.
Oh my God. I can't even.
You can't even have
can't enjoy, where you are, like being in the moment. So anyway, It had me really thankful that we are with a company that is doing and training the way that they do. And that we just don't have that kind of pressure on us. So anyway, I think I took this off course a little bit. But.
No, I love this. I could stay on till like midnight. Adrienne, thank you so much. I can't wait to watch this again when I post it. Thank you. I honestly, I would never, like, you guys should have seen her public speaking at the Opportunity event. You would have no idea that here I am 4 years in, I have 4 pages stapled, and I told her, I was like, see all this stuff, this is what I'm talking about tonight. And it's about X Factor and Mega X. Like, I know the products, but I have to write everything down and then like study, put it down. And so maybe that's just, we just kind of get in our own head, like,
yeah,
we're scared.
That's what I do too. I have to write everything down. I'm one of those people that has to read it, write it down, and speak it for it to stick up here.
Yeah.
All that.
I even type my name, like, hi, I'm like, what is that?
Because you'll miss it.
Well,
I might get it wrong.
Guys, I completely wing it 100% of the time, which is not like my personality, but I literally think I black out because I have no idea what I said afterwards. Yeah, I really like the part about, I'm like, did I cuss? I literally can't remember. Like, I cannot remember, but you just have to you got to do it the only way you can. And be authentic,
That's funny. Well, thank you guys. Adrienne, thank you so much. This was awesome.
Totally awesome.
Just get up. That's the theme.
Just get up.
Hashtag love it.
Thank you guys.
Thanks everyone.
All right. Bye.